everybody, it's Chris from the Evermore podcast, the Newcastle podcast, and the Evermore YouTube channel. Back with one of our final rumour has it videos as the window is closing any minute now. And a couple of players have been linked to Newcastle United yet again today and last night as well. So we're going to get stuck into these two players. You know, Eddie Howe's already been talking about potentially buying players and not buying players. So we'll get stuck into all of that in a second. Just before we do a little bit of housekeeping, if you haven't already, please click that like and subscribe button, smash that bell, help us get over that 1,800 mark. We're so close now. I think we're about 1,735 or 6. So we're really, really close to that. We'd really appreciate it if you hit the button. All free content this. We don't charge anybody. We've got no fees. We just love bringing the content to you, chatting about Newcastle with Newcastle United fans and fans of all football clubs, really. So let's get stuck into these players then. So Eddie Howe's had his press conference today. I covered it in the match preview, and he's been talking a little bit about, obviously, the players and injuries and everything else. And he was pressed on transfer deals and whether he was actually, expecting any deals to come through and outgoings as well. So the outgoings, really, the only one he's been talking about is Martin Dubravka, which everybody knows he's in talks with Manchester United. Really weird move, this. Don't get it at all. He's going from one bench to another, but I think he's maybe started to create a little bit of noise in the background, and that's potentially where moving Martin Dubravka on. I've got no bad blood with Martin Dubravka. Great servant for the club, done fantastically well in his short time here, but, we got him for next and out. Moving him on, fair play, good luck to him. We'll have Carl Darlow as backup to Nick Pope. I'm just hoping Nick Pope doesn't get injured. So moving away from that one, obviously, we've had injuries to Emil Kraft, but there's no sign of what he says, Eddie Howe, anyway, of bringing in fullbacks because he says we've got Kieran Trippier and Javi Manquillo. I'm not sure there's a lot of truth to that, to be honest with you, because Trippier has got an injury record, and I do think we might be looking for some players, which we'll come on to one in a minute. But what Eddie Howe did say was he didn't expect us to do any big business, unless there was deals to be had, which obviously he's talking about now in terms of the loan market. So we're going to talk about a couple of players here for low fees or no fees moving forward. So the first player that's been linked to us, I'm just going to pull him up here, is Leander Dendoncker from Wolves. Now, this has been greeted with a universal kind of meh by a lot of Newcastle fans, but other Newcastle fans see this as a decent bit of business. So who is Leander Dendoncker and what is he as a player? He's a defensive midfielder, but he can be box-to-box as well. You can see from his statistics there, he's been at Wolves a long time, since 2018, 153 appearances, 11 goals and 5 assists. He's 27 years old, so he's at the peak of his powers. What can he bring to the club? He's big, he's strong, he's good in the tackle, he's strong on the ball. He can run from midfield, he can break up play, he can get in the box and score goals as well. He's not a prolific goal scorer, but I think he'd be a good body to have. Mark is likened to Sean Longstaff there because he very much plays a similar role to Sean Longstaff. You can see from the radar there, in terms of what the player can bring, key passes, assists, goals, and interceptions, he outweighs Sean. Sean beats him on tackles, and aerials won just slightly as well. But he does beat Sean on creating opportunities as well. But looking at his statistics, don't make great reading in a lot of senses. He's been a bit patchy for Wolves, but he is a steady player and he's a good Premier League player, and I think he would be a decent squad addition. And we can see how light the squad is. We need bodies in, to add some squad depth, because outside of the starting 11, the bench is really, really poor. We've got people like Matt Ritchie whose legs are gone. We've got people like Murphy who's a headless chicken. You're throwing Elliot Anderson, who's a great player, but it's a lot of pressure on young shoulders. Sean Longstaff's got his limitations. So a player like this wouldn't be a bad shout. And, I think the fee is about 8.5 to 10 million, which is pocket change really in the current climate for an experienced, Belgian player, Belgian international, Premier League, tried and tested player. It's not a bad shout. But looking at the statistics there, you can see his passing's a bit low, but his pass completion is quite high. He's in the 80 percentile there. His fouls committed, he's kind of up in the higher echelons, of the lower fouls per game, because he does put in a good tackle as well. His tackles that he puts in there, you can see, he's only winning, 24% of the tackles that he puts in, but he's not committing any fouls. So, potentially he's missing the tackle, but he's not putting any fouls. But, he is a steady away player. He's not great. He's not a world beater. His aerial duels are good. His passing accuracy is good. His concentration levels are good. So when he puts a tackle and he does put in a clean tackle, he puts in a well-timed tackle. He's not great at his pressure successions there, but I think you're just talking about squad players at this particular time. The squad is light. We need some just tried and tested professional players that can come in and do a job. And I think that Dendoncker could do a job. You know, he's not amazing. You know, would I rather have Yuri Tillemans? Of course I would. But he's 35 million quid. Would I rather have Conor Gallagher on loan? Of course I would. But will Chelsea let him go on loan? Do they want a fee for him? You know, Ross Barkley on a free is another name that's been mentioned as well. You know, potentially that's one. I think I mentioned in the last video. I think he's going down the Dele Alli route for me. I'd love to be proven wrong. You know, but you know, he hasn't shown me anything that shows me he's going to come back from this downward spiral that he's on. Even when he went to Villa on loan, he was shit as well. But you can see from Dendoncker's heat map there, he is a busy player. He spends a lot of time in his own third cleaning up the messes and obviously just getting over the halfway line, passing it to the more talented players to make something happen. So I'm not massively against this deal. I think it would be a decent little bit of business by the club, to be fair. So, you know, that'll be one that we'll watch coming through. Everton are obviously in for him. You know, that'll be something that we'll have to just watch progress, really, as the window comes down to a close. These are the kind of deals I think will happen towards the back end of the window. So we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll just see what happens. But the other player it will be linked to as well, we haven't got stats like, has just slipped in at the last minute. Mark's a bit preoccupied to get one done in time for this video. But the other player is Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Now, I can't believe that Ainsley Maitland-Niles is only 25, because it seems like he's been around for like 40 years. But I like the lad. He's a very talented footballer. He can play at fullback or he can play as defensive midfield. He's fast. He's busy. You know, he's good. He's a good tackler. You know, he can get up and down the line. He can whip a ball in. He's got a good engine. I think this would be a really, really good bit of business. He's at the end of his Arsenal contract. So I think the fee would be very, very nominal. You know, probably the same kind of figure as Dendoncker, maybe even less than that. So to me, this would be smart business, I think, by the club to bring this lad in. Versatile, can play, you know, either fullback or midfield positions, and I think just has a little bit more to offer than maybe an Isaac Hayden did. So just looking at his, you know, where he was playing his football last season, he had 8 games in the Premier League. He went on loan to Roma, and he had 8 games in Serie A. So overall, he played 23 games, got 1 assist during that time. But in terms of his statistics, I have actually had a little look at these, even though Mark is not in the chair. I'm just trying to pull these up. If you bear with us, where are those statistics gone? I'm just looking at my other. I've got how many apps open here? Here we go. Right, I've got them in here. So these are his statistics versus other fullbacks across Europe per 90 minutes for the last year in football, really. So if you're looking at the kind of key areas that you want to cover, so Maitland-Niles, pressures wise, he's in the higher percentage. He does 16.29 pressures a game, so he's in the 85 percentile. His blocks 2.69 a game, so he's in the 96 percentile. So defensively, he's very, very good. Shot creating actions, he's 71 percentile, so he gets up and down that line and makes things happen as well. And progressive passes, he's doing over 4 a game, so he's in the 70 percentile on that one. Passes attempted, he's in the 60 percentile. So he's not a bad footballer, to be honest with you. And at 25 years old, 5-time captain England international, I don't think it's a bad bit of business by the club. Like I say, they don't cost a great deal of money, these players. You know, people might scoff and say, oh yeah, richest club in the world, you're buying these players. But we need squad fillers. We need players that can come in and play in cup games against Tranmere and do a good job. We need players that we can call upon when Bruno's got a niggle or something like that, or Trippier's feeling his hamstring or his foot. So these are players for me that I wouldn't be too against us signing. You know, good ages, 25 and 27, Premier League experienced players, you know, athletic, can play Eddie Howe's pressing style of football. So yeah, let us know what you guys think in the comments below. I've got no issues with it. I think they'd be 2 decent signings, but you know, we're going to see what happens before the window shuts. There's still a lot of movers and shakers that could be heading one way or the other, and I'm sure Newcastle United will be involved in some way, shape or form. So we'll be staying across at the channel and trying our best to report it to you. If you like what we do, smash the button, subscribe, hit the bell, you'll not miss any content, and we'll try our best to bring as much of the transfer rumours and links to you before that window slams shut on Thursday night. We'll be back on Thursday with the lads for another Evermore podcast. The transfer window will definitely be on the agenda there, as well as a few other things as well. So make sure you tune in for that live at 7 o'clock. Until then, this is Chris from Evermore signing off. Let's keep supporting the team of United, and let's keep an eye on that transfer window, see who we bring in. Cheers, guys. Bye.